Hello friends, let's make this beautiful hanging fern together. For today's project, we're going to start off with some 4-weight yarn of your choice, a 3mm hook, even though I can't see, but it is 3mm, and then we are going to create a magic ring, and we're going to double crochet 12 in through the magic ring. All right, let's count, make sure we have 12, and then you're going to take the little tail and pull it taut or tight, and that'll give us our circle pattern that we're looking for. You will see that in this row, this is the only one that I do the slip stitch in to close the circle. I like to work in the spiral fashion, not adding stitches into the counts and confusing me. But we'll slip stitch, and then we're going to move on to row 2, and we are going to do increases for row 2, so you want to make sure you've got your working yarn and not the tail. And we're going to double crochet 2 of those into each of our 12 stitches, and at the end we should have 24 stitches. All right, we made it through row 2. Make sure that the center of your magic ring is closed completely. And then we're going to work half double crochets into row 3. So you're going to do a half double crochet, a half double crochet, and then you're going to increase on the third stitch, putting 2 half double crochets in there, and then repeating that pattern all the way to the end, and you should have 36 stitches. All right, so you see here that I put a stitch marker in. I like to put it in the very last stitch that I've done so that when I come back around, I can remember that I need to put a stitch actually in that particular stitch. And so with this next row here, row 4, we're going to still do increases, but we're going to use the single crochet stitch. You're going to do 2 single crochets in a row, and then in that third stitch you are going to increase it by putting 2 single crochets inside of it, and you should end up with 48 stitches. Okay, we're on to row 5, and it can be a little tricky. Just make sure that you're paying attention. You're going to use the back stitch of your stitches. That is where the V is, only using the back loop or the furthest strand away from you. We're going to double crochet in those back loops all the way around, and you should maintain 48 stitches. Okay, now we're going to move on to row 6, 7, and 8, which actually builds up the wall to your little bowl. You can see that with the back stitches, it created a little line, kind of just creating a distinguishing bottom of your pot. And we are going to double crochet using the whole stitch all the way around for the next 3 rows, and you need to maintain 48 stitches. And the only reason this is important is because when we make the lid to our pot, or the dirt part, then it'll be easier for us to stitch in if they line up, because your lid should end up with 48 stitches as well. Okay, there we go. We got a little basket going. Congratulations. Now we're going to use the front loop. So row 9, you want to single crochet using the front loop closest strand to you, and you're going to go around 48 times, maintaining your diameter. All right, well, you're on to our final row there. I already did it. I got ahead of myself, but I slip stitched around the edge of that, making that rim a little bit thicker, 48 times. And now we're going to chain 80 to create the hanging part of your basket. Okay, we've got 80, a chain of 80, and we need to make sure that we fold it the correct way here because it should be directly across. As long as you've got the 48 around, it should be nice and even. So just make sure that you fold it correctly. And then we're going to just secure it by slip stitching it. So make sure that your working yarn is around to the front there. And then I like to use the stitch marker and place it inside there before I secure it, just to make sure that I have it in the right spot. And when it hangs, it's not going to be front heavy or back heavy, depending on how you hang up your plant. Time to make the lid or your dirt portion of your hanging plant. So we're going to start this part of it just like we did the other part here with a magic ring, and we're going to double crochet 12 double crochets into the center of our ring and then secure it with a slip stitch to give us the circle we're looking for. Now we're going to do row 2, which is the double crochet increases just like before, and you should end up with 24 at the end. This is where I like to put my stitch counter in, because now we're going to do row 3, and we are doing the half double crochet increase. So you will do 2 double crochets in a row, and then you will increase the third stitch with 2 double crochets into that stitch, and repeat that pattern all the way around until you have 36 stitches. All right, and then this is going to be our final row, row 4, and we're doing the 2 single crochet and then an increase. So you will do 2 single crochets in a row and then increase the 3rd stitch by placing 2 single crochets inside, repeating that pattern all the way around till you have your 48 stitches. And then you're going to finish it off and leave a significant tail. I would say at minimum 12 inches so that you can sew that onto the top of our pot. And we're almost done here. We're going to use roughly about 6 grams of stuffing and stuff it into our pot to hold its shape. Again, this is preference on this part, but doing this project a few different times now, less is better on this. That way your stuffing isn't showing. And you're going to line up the top and we're going to sew it on here. We're going to get our yarn needle, line it up, and you're going to use the inside stitch all the way around the rim of your pot. When you get to the end here, close to the end anyways, uh, make sure that if you do want a little bit more stuffing in there, that you put it in now, so that you have the desired shape and look that you're looking for. I usually do end up adding just a little bit of extra stuffing towards the end there to make sure that I have a nice full pot. All right. Once it is all the way around and secured, I just take and push my needle down through the bottom. And I do, before cutting this, I put a little extra pressure on it to pull it out so that when it's cut, that end piece just flies into the center of my project. That way it's secure, not going anywhere, and then you can shape it however you would like. These are your bases for many, many hanging plants. You can make them multitude of different sizes, but this is part one complete of our hanging fern.